Good day. Friedrich was right. Just a second. Good day. Friedrich Wright was your name? Ah, excellent, excellent. Just a heads up that we are already live, so we're just running the live stream starting soon screen, but it does pick up all my system audio, so people should be able to hear you. We'll just wait a few more minutes before we start. Yeah. The link is in the patron and crew launch. You might want to mute it though, because since you're already getting my audio, you'll be getting it twice. Let's see if we got 3 more minutes. Good evening to everyone. We're just setting up, so we'll be starting live stream in 3 minutes. Alright, looks like 1 minute to start, guys. I'm just answering a few patron questions on my chat here. That should do it. Let us turn on. Good evening to all our listeners. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is Kaiserreich Cinema, and I am Vincent Anil, the director and founder of Kaiserreich Cinema, and we are joined here today for the Divided States livestream 04. The Divided Straits, of course, is our upcoming animatic series set in the world of Kaiserreich during the Second American Civil War, which will center around 4 heroes attempting to get the plans of a nuclear weapon designed by the Germans from Chicago to Los Angeles, and the heroic journey they must make across a war-torn United States. So first off, let's see where everyone is from. So I am signing in from Belgium. We have Russian Pigeon with us, Friedrich from Switzerland or the US. I'm not sure, where are you based right now? Ah, cool. What state are you in? Texas, alright, that's a big... and you were from Germany originally, or was it Switzerland? Alright. Yes. I am from the northern Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, not too far from the city of Antwerp. So Antwerp is about a 20-minute drive from where I live. Yes, Antwerpen. It's in the other province though. We have a bunch of people from the Netherlands signing in, as I can see. which is cool. We're heading there next week. We'll be going on holiday, and we will be doing a little cycling trip around the IJsselmeer. The IJsselmeer is a very beautiful lake that the Dutch dammed off, and I hear it is fully sweet water, which surprised me because I thought it would be seawater. So I'll go check it out and see what's happening up there. Well, let me just tweak my lights a little bit. I can see Squire is with us as well tonight. Squire, how you doing, man? Excellent. Who else is here? Mr. Knowledge. Ah, no, he signed off again. Looks like he'll be shy. Remember, guys, if you are in the patron chat with me, to mute the live stream itself, or you're gonna have a bad time hearing me twice echo, bounce all over the place. So, what we will be working on tonight, as you guys can see on the live stream, I'm doing some concepts of Emily, because right now we need some character reference for the external illustrators who are coming in. So I am being joined now by Quentin Dognon, an illustrator from France, who is helping me develop the show, and we are full steam ahead working on this trailer. We are of course very excited about getting this to you. I'm just gonna go through chat questions real quick, then I will continue working on this Emily piece. Then I will be checking out, just a second, I want to see if my pen's working correctly. I want to go through chat real quick, and then I will be, what was on this calendar? Oh right, we're doing a poster giveaway. This is my little calendar, by the way, so to make sure I don't forget stuff. We're doing a poster getaway. I will do a prize question. This time it will be related to the Divided States. In, let's say, halfway through the live stream. I usually do these for an hour or 30 minutes, so let's say in 45 minutes I'll post a prize question, and as usual, the first person to answer correctly on my email will be sent one The Divided States poster. Now let's go through this chat and see what you guys have been up to. Esther Bos asks me, Vincent, ben jij Nederlands? That is correct. Ik ben van de kanten van Sint-Niklaas. I am a Dutch-speaking Belgian from the north part. So my mother tongue is Dutch. My French is okay. My German is barely passable. I spent quite a lot of time working in Brussels. Now what I need is my Emily. I'm going to use my search thing. Give me the Emily TDS master reference folder. Loading. Here we go. So here are some of the shots that we already have. What we're trying to do is turn these particular shots that we have into a more consistent character design. Especially in terms of hair and stuff, we're definitely struggling with Emily right now. Mr. Pasta asks, why do the Kaiserreich devs have so much hate against the Kaiserreich Redux devs? Don't think I've ever heard something like that. If I'm not mistaken, Kaiser Redux is a submod. I think it's a pretty cool submod. I have never seen any Kaiserreich dev be against it, so I think it's a pretty popular mod, so not sure where you're getting that particular idea. But then again, we do not speak for the Kaiserreich developers. Kaiserreich Cinema is a collective of artists, actors and musicians who are mostly fans. Some of us are also working on the Kaiserreich mod. I pop in there every now and then, but I am not a main developer for the mod, so that's important to know. Who is Emily? Esther Boss asks. Emily Faulkner is one of our main characters for the upcoming Divided States animatic show. You guys can see her as well on the Divided States poster. Here we go. I'll pop that open real quick. No, that's a print file. It's going to take too long to load. There we go. Born in the Union of Britain, Emily and her family fled to Chicago after the Revolution. So she spent most of her childhood in the US. She feels closer to the United States than she does to her original British homeland. And she ends up joining the CSA for reasons that will be explored in the Divided States animatic. This is a character that goes back, as you guys know, all the way to the first World of Kaiserreich Combined Syndicates. So if you guys want to see that, you should go check out that video. I'll post a link to it right now. Just so you guys know, she's looking different now. We did a few redesigns of her character. This is all the way back in February 2019. Nathaniel Mortensen asks, Vincent, how are you? I am doing well. Obviously, considering the circumstances, we are still in lockdown. And yeah, I mean, this is a pandemic year, man. So it's, you know, there's a lot of boredom. There's not much you can do. I do try and stay inside as much as I can. Very restricted in terms of travel. It's just something we'll have to live with as long as the virus is a part of our life. So we are trying to spend this time productively by working on the divided states. That's one of the advantages, I would say, of this very virus screwing with us, is that we have way more time to work on projects like this, like the divided states. Gauchiokas, I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that's my best attempt, is asking whether there are ideas for the 21st century in the Kaiserreich universe. There is no official canon for Kaiserreich past 1936. That has always been the party line. So I would say no, but obviously I've talked to developers throughout the years, and everyone has a bit of his own headcanon of what's going on. And so there's definitely some interesting stuff going on there. Let's see, and we get a little line working here. I'm gonna expand this lip area, pull down this nose. Why does Mexico have the option of joining the Second American Civil War? I would say pure opportunism. Probably the best explanation for that. By the way, how are the patrons doing? Because I've been looking at chat, but you guys are also here. You're hearing me if everything's working correctly? All right. Excellent. Let me see who's in line here. Mr. Knowledge, you're back. Welcome, Connor. It's Connor, right? I'm having difficulty remembering all the nicknames because you guys have a... Connor, right? Yeah. How are you doing, man? Having PC issues? Oh yeah. That's one of the reasons I wasn't live streaming the past 2 or 3 weeks. As I said on the Patreon posts, I was like, oh guys, it's way too hot. I'm not live streaming because it heats up really fast with these lights on me. So I try not to do it when it's already hot. Today is a nice and cool day. And I also cannot run an AC while live streaming because you would really hear that noise, and it would be really annoying to watch or listen to. So I'm trying to balance it. This is not my favorite season. Now that we're going into September, we'll be seeing a little bit more cooler weather, so I'm very happy for that. What state were you from again, Connor? Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, it never gets... Summer never ends in California. Yeah. Oh, that's right, I remember, we've gone back and forth on a few packages you've had sent to your place, so I remember. Yeah, you could, I mean, what are you guys pushing right now, 100F? Have you ever considered moving? Not being in California? But I did hear that rent is going down. You're in the greater LA area, right? If I'm not mistaken? Or was it SF? Okay. And you're still getting heavy rents there? Which is weird. You're still getting like high rents there? considering you're further from the city, so it should be more okay cost of living area. Yeah, that makes sense. So where are you planning on moving to? Have anything lined up? Oh man, the south is terrible. I really like. I know. Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of friends in North Carolina. I love those guys, but I hate going North Carolina. It's so hot. And North Carolina isn't really the south, you know. So I can imagine it only gets worse as you go down. The thing is, like, our tolerance for heat when you're a European and you're from the Atlantic part of Europe is really, really low. So anything like above 90 degrees I experience as being hot. Anything 100 would be unbearable. Like, and that's a regular temperature in many states in the US in summer. And especially yeah, but I mean, but I've been on top of mountains and glaciers. I would have to calculate. The cold, yeah. You mean like a regular winter night, or like the literal coldest I've ever been in? Should be. Okay, a regular winter night in Belgium would be, but because of global warming, obviously it shifted a lot, and I think -5 Celsius. So that would be 23 degrees Fahrenheit would be like an average Belgian winter night, I would say. I do spend quite a lot of time working in Sweden, so Sweden is definitely colder. And then I would say before global warming, a summer in Sweden, we would probably not get above 90. Like, that would be a warm day in Sweden. So you can see, like, the US is a way more southern than Europe is, and you also have the jet stream, so it's slightly different. But like, US temperatures start at where Spain is in Europe, and then it just goes up from there. And Spain is way warmer than Germany or Belgium and anything east. Like, once you go east and north, it gets really, really cold. It's quite interesting to see how these how temperatures and cultures adapt. One thing you do have in the US that I think is neat is, like, every house there has AC, right? You're starting to see it in Europe as well, but it's definitely not common. Most people here right now are buying these, you know, small portable ACs. You're starting to see more and more central HVAC units, but it's definitely not something you saw in Belgium even 5 years ago. Cut this off. I'm going to answer a few questions from the chat. Just a second here, guys. Colombian has it right. California is basically hell on earth in the south and beautiful green in the north, with something in between in the center, which reminds me I need to crack a window. Just a second. There we go. I've heard great things about Washington State, so northwest Pacific area, both in terms of climate and nature. Like they say, it's really beautiful for hiking. It's definitely an area I would love to visit one day, and then go pop over to Vancouver as well. Have you guys ever been there? Yeah, are you? Yeah, but I mean, you live in Australia, so if you've visited several parts of Australia, you've already traveled more miles than anyone. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a massive trip. How much airplane hours is that? Yeah. I think I've told the story before, but I have a colleague who works in video games, and he was with us in the US, and then he lives, I think, in the south west of Australia. So he had to take, to get to North Carolina, he had to take, I think, first a 3 or 4 hour flight to, what's the, Canberra, I want to say, where he could get a flight to Texas. Yeah, and then he, that's on the eastern coast, right? Canberra, east-south? Yeah. So it was Canberra. That's the only place you could get a flight that would go out and take him to Texas, which takes, I want to say, another 14 hours or something, something in that space. And then he had to take another flight to North Carolina. So it was, I would say, an 18-hour airplane thing. And then it gets even worse with layovers and stuff. Pretty much a day of travel. Like that's rough. Imagine living in Australia like 7 years ago, when air travel wasn't like common, and you would, like, people would still take a boat. That's crazy. Like I think the average Joe would never be able to leave Australia. Like, you would have to travel for weeks on a boat. That's interesting. How are you guys doing COVID-wise, considering you're so isolated? Yeah, that makes sense. You're actually seeing COVID-free regions in Europe as well. So like Finland near the Russian border is fully COVID-free. Several states in Estonia are COVID-free, and the north of Sweden as well. But it's definitely like small spots. The problem with Belgium is worse. By the way, Mant History asks, is it hard to work with digital art, graphics design? Is it hard? That depends on your definition on hard. It's definitely like, I'm definitely not the person that goes and tells everyone, oh, it's so great, it's so easy. Like, that's not, it requires a lot of work to learn how to draw. It requires patience, study, many years of practice. Then depending on like whatever your personal talent level is, you might be able to advance faster or slower than others. It's definitely a learning process. I think it's, if you want to make it your career, definitely worth investing time in, because it is fun to do. Yes, just want to give a complete answer there. What I enjoy particularly is what we're doing with the Divided States right now. Building, basically using art, not just as art, but also animating our drawings, like getting voice actors in. You know, that's what we started doing with the World of Kaiserreich all those years ago. I think 3 years ago when we started posting the first videos. And then it helps us like develop the World of Kaiserreich in definitely new and exciting ways, and that can only be done through art, animation, just the intersection of all these disciplines working together. See what else we got. You mean the Birthright comic set in the Union of Britain with the commandos? My official line there would be no comment. I would say the two are related and exist within the same timeline, but it's not directly their story. Let's just say that this story happens in a different space, but within the same time frame of that other story. So for the Divided States, what we're definitely looking at, like in the bigger picture with Kaiserreich Cinema, is we're trying to establish the idea of a couple of different timelines within Kaiserreich Cinema pieces that we're doing. So for example, we have the timeline which completely follows Kaiserreich lore, and that would be Interlude, right? So that's our motion series comic. Anything like pre-36 content that we make follows Kaiserreich lore fairly closely. Because that is like the area where there is official Kaiserreich lore, and then we are just following canon there. And then past 1936, there is really no official canon. So what we're doing is we're setting these pieces which go past 1936 in different timelines. So they might directly oppose each other. You saw this, for example, with some of the radio shows that we've been doing. Where like the first radio was the same character in I want to say a syndicalist dominated time zone, or it was the other way around. Anyway, we did a couple of episodes there. Just doing a quick check. By the way, Octo, I'm seeing your link problems. Just let me know. Just send me an email. It's probably going to be best if when I have some more time, because I don't have time to look at that right now, so I'm in Photoshop painting. Just drop me an email at vincent@kaiserreichcinema.com and we'll check it out, see what we can do. I'm going to work on this hand later, it's going to be too much work. Orion IV asks, no, Aries asks, I would love to see Kaiserreich in a series. Then you are in luck, because this is a series. Originally, we're planning 26 episodes of the Divided States. Obviously, it's going to take a long time to make, so you won't be seeing 26 episodes directly. Our current plan is to release the trailer, and this will probably happen somewhere. I want to say either late September or October. There's still a bit of work left on the trailer, but it's definitely progressing nicely, so it's not looking like we should delay it much beyond the summer. Again, this is all very new territory for us, so this is the first time we're animating a show, you know. This, like, we still have to cast a thing. We have voice actors. We have voice actors in mind. Like, we have people that we think we want to work with, but to make sure we want to get like a really nice casting in. And I don't know how long that's going to take, right? So I know how long it's going to take to voice all the lines. I don't think it's that much work anymore, but I could be mistaken. So I try not to make hard promises and be realistic in everything we do. Once the trailer is done, what we want to do is release 3 episodes. And that is obviously going to be like months after the trailer, depending on like how much patrons we can keep getting, because that does help. Every time we get new people donating monthly, that means that we can, for example, we have content joining us now, an extra illustrator, so that's definitely going to speed us up if we can get an extra illustrator, an extra animator. So we're just building all these teams out one by one. I would say the safest bet would be 3 episodes, 6 months, up to a year of work. Maybe, yeah, 6 to 8 months, I think. So what I'll probably do is have the trailer announce the Divided States as releasing in 2021. Rai Alfuli asks, will there ever be official canon past 1936? There will not, because that's always been part of the Kaiserreich thing. And I think it's more interesting this way, because sort of, you know, your game is canon, whatever you consider canon works for you. So that means every game of Kaiserreich is equally valid within the Kaiserreich timeline. Now the Divided States is going to be slightly different, because obviously it tells it's a show, so it does have a progressing storyline. So the world of the divided states develops along the lines that a Kaiserreich world could develop, but it does not set out official Kaiserreich canon. So this is a side, basically a project within the Kaiserreich world. It does not define the Kaiserreich world. Nothing in Kaiserreich cinema does, except for those particular shows when we're exactly there to talk about Kaiserreich lore, like the documentary series. I have not. I am vehemently opposed to Flanders Wallonia. I think it's an abomination of a German satellite state, and it is a complete insult. It's a complete meme. Yeah, I know you can do like a Belgian loyalist thing, which would be the only acceptable way to play Flanders Wallonia. I think the more realistic scenario would be either a splitting of Flanders and Wallonia with like no like German kingdom and stuff, but it's yeah. That's technically what the Germans promised the Flemish collaborators in the First World War. So they promised them their own states, and they played up against. But one of the things that is missing is a lot of the cultural elite in Belgium has always been French, and definitely in that time it was like a mostly French elite. So they would never support like French being pushed out for German. And this isn't just like Wallonia or Brussels. Like there were basically everyone who was rich in like Antwerp or Ghent or was in the North Belgium. They were French speaking families, and I would. Yeah, I mean, Kaiserreich. Neil, please continue. Hmm. Yeah. There's definitely like large parts of Kaiserreich lore being reworked because a lot of that stuff. So I would say Kaiserreich as like a serious like media thing is definitely more recent because back in the Kaiserreich Darkest Tower days, it was basically it was a meme fest. We had Battle Pope, we had like a bunch of weird stuff in there because it was just fun. And Hearts of Iron 4 brought a new generation of developers who, with the support of the old developers, I should add, because that was always the plan to at some point like take out all the meme content and make it a bit more serious and fleshed out. Their vision was definitely to have like a really well developed. I always say like Kaiserreich is the world's greatest fan built alt history IP, and I think this new direction really suits it. That being said, I think I will make the Divided States a little more out there. Obviously, we're playing with cool jets, and we'll still be realistic, but it's definitely going to be like, realistic the way an anime is realistic. You can see this in Emily's clothing, for example. It's like, it's not fully historical. It has like some modern elements to it, but I think it makes her look really good. So I don't want to make it like a super highbrow thing. It should be entertaining as well. Going to trim this a bit here, paint these. I might actually remove these. She has some kind of holster that she's carrying, but I'm not sure whether I want that in the final version. In fact, we're also playing, let me guys show you what's going on in one of the secret channels. Quentin proposed another costume design for Emily. This one, let me just pull it up here on the main monitor. So we have a couple more designs that we want to try out. Ah yes, that is my personal logo. It's so my company, the company that is behind Kaiserreich Cinema, is just called Atelier Vincent and L BV. That just means like Vincent and L's Projects LLC, basically. Yeah, I was looking for a logo. I designed it pretty early on when I was still in design school, and I thought, hey, cool. I was into history, and I would love I was looking for something heraldic, and then I got the idea of a stag. There's really not more story to it. Like I thought a stag would be cool, and that became my logo. I actually haven't. I think it would be cool if she was left-handed, just to mix it up. But the thing is, like, what we can do if it ends up like we just flip the entire painting, right? So, boom. Now it's a right. Yeah, it's an ammo thing, but I have to replace it. Sometimes I just paint something in there and then be like, yeah, fix this later. I think it should be an M1911 holster, because that's like the weapons I would have her use. So she would have an M1911 on the side hole. I would have her have that M1911, and then she has the mass rifle, MS-38 French rifle, which will be very common in the Divided States, as it's the main service rifle of well, I mean, those that managed to get French Lend-Lease, those divisions of the CSA. And Emily brings one with her from the thing. I also have a few cool weapons lined up that I want to try out for some of the other factions. There's like this, what's it called? It was a Type 3 Gustav rifle. I wanna look it up. Type 3 Gustav German rifle. No, that's not it. Basically, we visit Forgotten Weapons very often, and we're a big fan of that channel. A lot of people following us are a big fan of Forgotten Weapons, and we're trying to get like these really obscure World War II weapons in there. German rifle. Ah, no wait, it's not the G43, it was called... So, yeah, Heroes 1, for example. Nah, that's a French one. It was actually used in Brazil after that, interesting. Oh. She does have a Mass 44 in the original Divided States art. So what I'm thinking is the Germans, new patrons you're going to be behind on the live stream, so check the live stream in 30 seconds when it catches up. The Germans will be using the STG-45M for squad leaders. Yeah, like these will be more rare, basically. And then if we want to get really fancy, you can use the Grossfuss Sturmgewehr, which is like a super alternative custom thing. But mainly they will use the there's a kind of rifle that I'm looking for, and I'm not finding it right now. Yeah, 1960. Or I also think you'll be seeing a lot more of those Austrian rifles that are really cool, like the Type 7, I think it's called. I'm not sure what the exact name is. German, I'm googling it on my other monitor. Surface rifle. No, that's not it. No. I have it somewhere in my folder, but I should check the mirror. I think I put it on there. Time for a deep dive. Yes, Gun Jesus. We are all big fans of Gun Jesus. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. What the hell is this thing? The Bisa machine gun. Did you find this? Jesus, that looks weird. That's fascinating. I've never seen that before. The Remington... Yeah, it looks like a Amazon a bit. I think the some of the Swedish rifles will also be more present, but I'm definitely looking at Austrian rifles because that's one of the things where like Austria could be a big arms supplier. Yeah, it's a really cool look. I use it in Battlefield all the time. Yeah. Yeah. You want to get the Belgium model 1903 in there. It's a classic. We have a... the 1903 is a Fabrique Nationale Herstal thing. It's not really... I mean, a lot of that is German tech originally, but like Event has its own thing going on. It's actually a pretty well-known arms company. They, for the longest time, I want to say the standard troop heavy assault, like the heavy assault machine gun of U.S. troops after Vietnam was the Event mini saw, and that was a Belgian rifle. But then they switched to M249. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I mean the M16 was a full auto, right? Well, I mean, what you need is nowadays is a semi-auto, full auto capable rifle. Like you need semi-auto for full auto is basically only for close quarter combat situations. Okay, if you start spraying full auto at range, like you're not gonna hit a lot of things. Okay, cool. Is that patron chat or general chat you're posting in it? What? Esther Boss asks what happened to Al Capone in the Second American Civil War. Is that ever said? I know he's in the CSA somewhere, and I think he has some kind of influence there. Do we have events explaining Al Capone's adventures? I actually had an idea of doing like a mini arc where it is like where Al Capone plays a role, like someone in the CSA gets in trouble and then they have to like team up with the mob. but it didn't make it into this version. Originally it was going to be Emily. Like we had this idea for an arc that didn't go through, where Emily would like get shot and then she would like wake up still in the city but protected by the mob, like in some capacity. We ended up cutting the getting shot thing altogether. It's now in episode 3. Douglas, if you scroll through the scripts, you'll see it moved to episode 3 now, but it's not like a part of the opening anymore. Yeah, so Jordan Pennell wrote the script of the first 2 episodes for us. I will introduce him to the channel later, but right now he's working on a very secret project for Kaiserreich Cinema, which we are saying nothing about, reminding all my patrons to nothing. Tight-lipped. This is Order 17 of the NKVD. You will be disappeared if you speak about the secret project. But then Jordan will announce him to the channel later, and we'll tell you guys a little bit more about what he's doing for us. But he's also writing on the Divided States, and I told him, like, Jordan, can you get me 3 episodes which get our characters on the road? So basically it's introducing the 3 characters, getting them out of Chicago, getting them on the road with the Chevy Master. And I think he did that really well, but obviously some things got cut in that version. The original getting shot arc got cut. The timing was weird, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that point. I think you were thinking the same thing as... just a second, I'm trying to focus on this drawing. As Jordan was thinking at that point, and basically what he did is very smartly reintroduces that plot point that happens now in the gas station fight episode 3, where it's going to feel a lot more natural. So I think that's a really good call he made. I'm not sure whether the... I've not. I know both games though. What were we using back in 1914? Was it the Bordeaux red thing? Let me check. Vulcan uniforms. Oh yeah, the blues. Yeah. Those were really insane. I mean, I think you're talking about what I'm showing right now. Like that, they had the Belgian army round. Like some of these costumes were still like Napoleonic, especially if you're like the smaller European countries, as our military and equipment was way outdated. So they had these really weird, impractical costumes. You're definitely seeing like an evolution in World War I from these like weird fancy costumes to the gray, practical stuff, which is sad. It doesn't look as dashing, but it's pretty good in not getting you killed. Yeah. You would just like aim for the cockade and then the bullet drop would take it straight to the head. That's not a... Yeah. 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 I mean, yeah. Then how did soldiers then know who their officers were? Yeah. Okay, that makes. Yeah, that makes sense. Doing a math. Actually, I think, guys, I need to check something. It's quite possible that people are not hearing you. Teaching people how to paint. I'll get back to that in quite a question. But I'm checking the live stream right now, and I'm not hearing you. So this is gonna sound very weird. No, people are not hearing you guys. they've been hearing me talking to myself this entire time. For people confused about what's going on, I was actually talking to patrons on voice chat, but you're not like the stream's not picking that up. Yeah, have you guys not heard any patrons here? That's weird. 'Cause yeah, yeah. Yeah, they do seem to be responding, but then when I go to the stream, it's not picking that up right now. I'm also not seeing a like an audio cue from my speakers. I'm checking it in OBS right now. Don't hear you, yeah. Okay, I see what the problem is. You're plugged in wrong. I think they should start to hear you now. Can you guys say something?
Here.
Yeah, that's it. They should be hearing you now. I'm picking up audio.
Yeah, sorry about the random noise. I needed to do an extended test.
Okay, I see what the problem is. Can you guys be quiet for a minute? I'm testing. I think they should start to hear you now. Can you guys say something?
Here.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, the guys can hear. Oh my god, this must have been so weird for everyone. I've been talking to you guys for the past hour and I've been getting nothing. Can you guys introduce yourselves?
Well, most people just call me Pidge. I'm Prussian Pigeon.
Yeah, we have a couple of patrons always on voice chat with us. So we also have Squire joining us from Australia.
Hello, I'm Squire. I'm also known as Douglas Lundell. I'm the researcher for the United States, and it's currently 5:50 a.m. here. So I'm tired.
He lives in the Twilight Zone.
Not the Twilight Zone, but I live in times where it's probably really not convenient to live stream, basically. So,
Yeah.
but I am here, so there you go.
Well, I mean, Australia's pretty good for the US West Coast. I mean, outside of there, it's outside the US West Coast, I think things get really weird, and Southeast Asia. But then again, the language barrier is there, so we have less exchange with Southeast Asia than with Europe and the US, for example.
So yeah, what I was asking was, apologies about that. Have you ever thought about doing a masterclass for digital art?
It's not something that I'm considering right now to teach others how to paint. Like if there's a lot of interest within our own community, I could do like a closed live stream thing for everyone who's an artist. But I think there's other creators on YouTube who already like explain what I do better, right? So I don't see the need for me to add something to that. There's a few really good channels that I can point you to if you're interested in that. And I think I already have you. You sent me a bunch of messages the other day, right? Asking about like painting channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've already and I've talked on Livestream a bit as well about like Proko's channel, which I think is a good like introduction. He goes over all the basics of drawing. But the basic principle of it is quite easy. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to imagine this form in space, and now I'm trying to imagine like how does the light hit it. So for example, if you switch to my stream, I'll just paint some examples. So while painting this, I'm sort of looking at it this way. So let's say I draw this imaginary wireframe. Right, so Emily has mass and form. So that means that wherever the light is coming from, those faces should be brighter. And wherever it's not, it should be darker. And then you can see that I put a lot of light here. Right, and a little bit less on the top. And that's basically how you can paint anything. Like you just break it down to simple forms. And then you can start thinking about, okay, if there's light coming from this side and the top, then there needs to be shadow here, like under the breast. And that's how you, like once you understand a human figure, you can start building everything up that way. But there's definitely like, there's practice involved. I'm a big fan of the Andrew Loomis books. And that's a great place to start. Like he goes over all these things, all these principles, drawing the human form, light, shadow, composition, storytelling. It's just a brilliant book if you want to learn how to draw. I'm going to answer one more question from chat before I hit you guys with the prize question. And that question was, where is Adolf, the Big H, and Stalin in Kaiserreich timeline? So that lore is still the same. So Adolf dies during the Great War in a gas attack, and the Stalin is a minor politician in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Douglas, can you correct me on this?
Hitler died, survived the Great War, but he died in the Russian intervention in the Russian intervention that Germany did in Russia. He died in a gas attack, which is irony because he hated gas attacks. But his memoirs become like a really big like German national hero story type of thing. Even though Hitler in real life was a really poor writer, I would imagine that in this timeline that his writings, Mein Kampf, My Struggle, would be like a big war type of heroism and the dangers of war and all that stuff in Germany. And yeah.
And
so
Stalin is a minor politician in Georgia, right? Is he still up there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he
What
does.
what was the other person again? Other than
Stalin.
Stalin?
No, it was Stalin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I
think yeah.
There's also like Himmler starts a fried chicken. That's always been legendary. Kaiserreich starts a fried chicken. Actually, the actual events imply that Himmler does die in the United Baltic Duchy police action, but they only imply it. So they say like his plan was to start a chicken farm, but then a lot of those police officers die in that event as well. Sorry for people hearing my desktop noise right now. I'm lazy Nezumi Pro is pretty pissed at me for hitting it repeatedly. There we go. So that's what happens with those two, with those geezers in the Kaiserreich timeline. Anyway.
Which faction in the Second American Civil War did you support?
Do I support personally? I think they're all terrible. No, I have affinity for the Union State just because I think it's cool. I'm a bit like Hussar on that front, you know, Hussar Corps. Like me and him are always memeing on, oh yeah, the Cajun bushwhackers in the south and yeehaw, you know. And if not that, then I would say Pacific States. But I don't really play. I would say U.S. factions in Kaiserreich. I'm more interested in Europe or like minor countries. I should really play.
Personally,
go ahead, Douglas.
yeah, personally, I would play. I would avoid the Second American Civil War entirely and just play as Canada and build the greatest navy the world has ever seen, which is basically my intent. Reforming the Royal Navy, basically.
Yeah. Did you know if you want looking for an interesting country to play, the legation cities have like a full-on crime drama written into their event tree. Flame
really?
Flame Totem is super interesting. Like, so basically, you have all these you have all these criminal factions vying for power in the legation cities, and then you get to decide which one like rises to power in much the same way that that is like done in Middle Africa with like Göring, and then the police inquiry into him. Like you can choose whether to like stop the investigation or like push the investigation, and it could basically it's that, but like on a much larger scale. It's super interesting.
China in general is a big mess because I tried playing as the left Kuomintang and I died.
Yeah, Qing are pretty strong. Don't underestimate, man.
Oh, the Qing! It was the successor state to the when the League of Eight Provinces collapses and it's all that. It was either Nanjing or Inky, and
yeah, all those cliques can be really strong.
And we start in the southern China hills, which is all hills, and like my infantry get like debuffed because they're not mounted infantry, so it's painful.
Yeah, I tried playing as the left Kuomintang about 3 times. Every single time, it's ended horribly.
That's a big oof. That's a big oof.
Yeah, it's not an easy faction to play. Famously, we were at PDXCon streaming the original China update when it first launched, and like we got completely destroyed by German intervention and everything in that space. Anyway, it's about time for the prize question. So the prize question, now this is a hard one, and I want to see which I will give away one The Divided States Season 1 poster to the first person who can email me the correct answer to this question, and this is a really hard one, so I think it's quite possible that nobody will get it today, but that's okay, we'll try again. So, where does Sawyer's family live? In his childhood, to be clear. Where did Sawyer live in his childhood? That is the prize question. If you can email me the correct answer to that question, you will receive one free The Divided States poster and help support the show. Don't answer that if you're a patron, by the way. You'll ruin it for all.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to make sure you guys upload it.
Then again, I don't know anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of patrons like have seen every video, so they know this stuff. Like, they're gonna like knock this out of the park, no problem. But we want to keep it fair. So, where did Sawyer live in his childhood? That is the prize question. You're looking forward. Starting the game clock. Tick, 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 tick. Zoroman asks, what happened?
Yes, that was my bad interpretation of the Jeopardy theme. So.
Yeah. Zoroman asks, what happened to JFK in Kaiserreich timeline? If I'm not mistaken, his father can like be president of New England and then like reunite the United States. Is that still it?
Huh.
I know that Quentin Roosevelt survives in this timeline while Franklin doesn't.
Yeah, he's definitely around.
Does Franklin die of polio?
Yeah. He
right. Sorry,
polio.
I was thinking of John F. Kennedy. Right. So he's talking Franklin. Yeah, I mean, he would still die of polio. That's not timeline. Like maybe people who die of natural causes in real life, they die in Kaiserreich in much the same way because I mean it's just health. And
Yeah.
stuff. It's not
Can't
something
exactly,
that. Thank God the Germans won the First World War. I am now immune to polio.
Yeah.
According to
Exactly,
this,
not have a stroke.
Also, what ended up happening to Herbert Hoover after the Civil War started out?
Yeah, that's
from my notes, he retired in disgrace. So there's that.
I think he goes into hiding, but I don't know exactly where all these figures are. Like Douglas, I think you've written most of you've done most of the Divided States research of what happens in the early war period. So that is pretty much the same as in Kaiserreich. The only
so what I know from my notes is that Herbert Hoover loses the 1956 election to his term limited, but he hands over the presidency to John Nance Garner, but then he does a bunch of like ex-president statements and whatever. Then when the war breaks out, he just disappears basically.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the entire political establishment of the United States before the Civil War, American Civil War, goes sideways basically because the rest of the federal government goes to California to establish the Pacific states. The southern states go to the Union. The syndicates run everybody out, and then New England does its own thing. And it's very hard to keep track of these figures because they often are only tied to the federal government in name only. So we know that certain generals do go to certain factions. Like, for example, we know that Patton goes to Union State. A couple go to the Pacific. We know that Smedley Butler goes to the syndicates, and of course MacArthur, which we named McAllister in this timeline, becomes junta leader of the United States. So there's that.
Yeah, so that's the biggest difference between the Divided States and Kaiserreich is that we are renaming many of the figures, the historical figures, as we're going to further fictionalize them and sell posters. So we would get into legal trouble, and to just easily sidestep all of that, we're just making fictional characters out of them. So for now, Huey Long is called Howard Langdon. MacArthur is called McAllister.
Dominic McAllister.
Yeah.
Dominic McAllister.
We'll have the patron votes on some of the other guys. Like I would say Pelly, we would rename it to Pelford, so their names will be recognizable to the inside crowd. But we're definitely
it's what I call vague, similar but different.
Yeah, and
it's enough to be different, but it's enough to be oh, I remember this dude. No. They remind me of somebody, that type of recognition.
Yeah, it also gives us the a way to do some really cool stuff like Bearded Huey Long, who is our absolute Giga Chad leader of the Union States.
And Finna. Don't forget he's Finna.
Every man a king.
Every man a king, but he did not hit the Big Macs in this timeline.
Should we rename John Reed to just Jack Reed?
They say
Jack Reed was his real nickname in real life, so there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could just have it be his real name.
Or you could just refer to him as Silas Reed. It's the middle name instead.
Yeah, Silas is a pretty cool name. And actually his books were noted with Silas as well. Apparently he used that middle name quite often.
Yeah, technically named Jackson Russell, but that doesn't really work now because Vincent told me he was the name of an actor. So
yeah, well, people were memeing on this in the Reddit when we first posted just pictures of his design. It was like, this summer, Jackson Crow is the Kingfish.
Honestly, it does look like a movie poster someone, doesn't it?
I thought that was wonderful. Let me see if anyone has gotten the prize question yet.
The Kaiserreich special, Huey Long versus Jack Reed in a boxing match.
This Sunday. For
$2, you get to see the two titans fight it out in a brawl to the last man.
This
Now
one,
on
the
pay-per-view.
Pentagon becomes the center of battle. Instead of the octagon, it's a pentagon. It's just the
Yeah.
Pentagon.
I've had a few guesses on my second monitor here, but all of them were incorrect. So I'll give you guys a little hint. The answer is, of course, in the World of Kaiserreich Union State video. To the prize question, the prize question is still, where did Sawyer live in his childhood?
Instead of the Pentagon, you make it a circle.
They brawl in the Oval Office to see who wins the presidency.
There's this thing on SCP. You guys know SCP, like Secure, Contain,
Yeah.
Protect?
Yeah.
There's a
Oh,
term.
yeah, it's like a bunch of creepypasta realized there's like secretive monsters, right?
Yeah, it's not only
Yeah.
like there's a lot of horror on there, but I think
There's also a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, sometimes it's just weird stuff or like funny or it's basically like I'm trying to find the English word for it, an aanvertelling, and a story that like fits many stories. So it's about this institute which basically catalogs and protects humanity against threats from other dimensions. So basically,
A
The
series?
it's actually a wiki. So people contribute their own stories, they write their own things, and then it's done in the overarching style. And now lately there's been a mass amount of YouTube channels popping up like narrating these stories. So you can go check them out. There's really cool narrated versions of these stories on YouTube. There's a channel that I'm a big fan of called SCP Animated, that's doing animated shorts of all of these. That's actually the closest. That's basically what Kaiserreich Cinema is in the SCP universe, right? So these guys are doing like these really cool animated shorts. It's definitely something you want to check out. Anyway, there's one timeline where basically everything's the same, only that the US presidency can only be decided through mortal combat. So presidents have to fight each other to the death. And interestingly, so that's an entire timeline of that. And interestingly enough, like it's almost the same presidents in every like part of that timeline. So like they go down the list, like FDR.
FDR just runs people over in his wheelchair.
Yeah, like FDR doesn't get to his second term because of his failing health, and then he gets defeated. And then John Wilkes Booth is president for a while.
Idea for a April Fool's special. It's a NASCAR game, but
Yeah,
it's FDR in his wheelchair.
Yeah, it's really funny, and there's like a big list of people who've like established that universe, and of who becomes president. So stuff like, of course, John Wilkes Booth, he kills a president, so he becomes one, and then all those other assassinated presidents throughout the years, like those guys.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, like those guys also become presidents. But then they get murdered pretty quickly afterwards, so it's not.
But doesn't really check who becomes the president for like a couple of hours because then he shot the evil Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you're popular and you have like people around you, like they'll protect you, right? So that's how that timeline works. So that's why like the big presidents are still do their full terms because they're just being protected by the Secret Service and everyone around them. If you're an unpopular president, like you're gonna get Mortal Kombat.
You're gonna get shot pretty quickly.
Yeah, you just get Mortal Kombated, and that's gonna be the end of your presidency.
I wonder what's gonna happen to Warren G. Harding then, because his death was pretty mysterious.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of President Garfield. I'm not sure. Like, you should look up like the most obscure presidents the U.S. ever had. So, and then you get these stories of like Garfield, who basically did nothing.
He was in office for like 9 months, and he got assassinated by some guy because he didn't get a job.
Yeah.
Garfield didn't even serve a month before he got shot. He spent the rest of his term in bed dying from gangrene because his doctor was incompetent.
Oh yeah, he survived like what was it? Wasn't it like 3 weeks with a gunshot wound?
Hang on, let me switch it up.
And then there's one president who was like who was known for like absolutely nothing. So basically, he was a big drunk, and then he was president for a full term, and then basically nothing happened in the U.S. during those 4 years.
Ulysses S. Grant?
I think it could have been Grant, yeah. I'm not sure who it was exactly.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually reading Garfield right now. He went into office March 4th. He got shot on July 2nd and died in September.
He was president for less than a year.
I mean, the guy survived for a month or two with the gunshot wound. I would say that's impressive.
Yeah, 2 months, but his doctor was very incompetent, like really incompetent. Like, example, they tried to dig out the bullet with his own hands.
What? What?
Funnily enough, the assassin. Funnily enough, the assassin who shot Garfield was while he was picking out his gun, he picked a pearl grip on his revolver because he thought it would look better in a museum. Not even kidding.
I mean, like, but then the gun got stolen, so that didn't work.
Gotta love that level of pettiness to consider how your gun would look in a museum. That's brilliant.
It's interesting in assassins because they always pick like really cheap guns. Some example, when McKinley was shot, the assassin, Charles Chogos, he does a really to be put him on a really crap revolver because when you shoot it, it goes sideways. Seriously.
The assassin for Andrew Jackson, who was like, wasn't he like the first president to have an assassination attempt on him? But either way, the guy went up to him like nearly at point blank range, had 2 flintlock pistols, both of them misfired.
And then he starts beating him, right?
And then he literally got beat with a hickory cane. And
he nearly got beat to death, yeah.
And then he finishes his speech, right?
They seized the pistols, they checked them, and they were in perfect working condition and fired every test. So either Andrew Jackson was magical, or the guns were scared of him.
Andrew Jackson rolls a d20 on Constitution, and all the guns magically misfire. By the way, Chris Helios, you have given me the correct answer, so congratulations. I am sending you an email right now. Can you...
Congrats to you, man.
Yes, congratulations, Chris Helios, to getting the answer correct. The answer was Paul Sawyer grew up near Haynesville, he says, in the world of Kaiserreich, American Union State. He says, when I was a boy, my family and I had a little farm down the way from Haynesville, which is Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken.
Assassination when Theodore Roosevelt ran for the office in 1912. Some guy shot him in with a 38 caliber revolver, but they hit his like speech in the chest, and then it was the most awesome moment. He went up to the speech, delivered the speech, he said, I forgot what he said, but he said something about, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you fully understand that I just been shot, but it takes more than that to kill a bull moose. And the crowd applauded.
He gave like an hour and a half speech after getting shot in the chest. Like, if that's not a good president, then I don't know what is.
You know, actually, he was shunted into the vice presidency after McKinley
was shot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was shunted into the vice presidency before when they were running for office in 1900 because the Republican Party did not want Theodore Roosevelt to become president. Because
he founded Bull Moose Party, right?
Yeah, he founded the Bull Moose Party. He lost the he lost the nomination to Taft.
Yeah, but before 1899 to 1900, I think it was like the Republicans nominated Theodore to become vice president of William McKinley because McKinley's vice president died, so they needed something to replace him. So they shunted Roosevelt to the vice presidency because vice presidents in the United States are notoriously obscure. Like, even by second-in-command standards. Well, yeah. Today's more opportune, but yeah, back then vice presidents are very obscure, so they wanted to Fyodor to die his political career in vice presidency, but then McKinley got shot by Choco. So
Yeah. The tycoons of business basically bought the U.S. election, and then they screwed themselves over because McKinley was shot.
by anarchists no less.
Yeah.
There's a whole. Just a second. I wanna make sure I get this right. John F. Kennedy, his vice president was Johnson, right? So when Johnson, who was a Republican, was asked to be running mate of John F. Kennedy for his re-election, or is it like, I don't know U.S. politics that well, so correct me if I'm mistaken on this part.
Yeah, he was his vice president.
Yeah, so basically he hated the guy, right? So Johnson was basically everything that he was not. Johnson was rural, did well with like a common folk audience. Kennedy was more of a city boy, fancy guy. So they hated each other's guts. He still became running mate of Kennedy, and then the news then asked him, why did you become running mate of Kennedy if you hate the man? And he said, statistically, 60% of all U.S. presidents, and at that point it was true, do not survive their term. It was it was a crazy number, 40% or something of U.S. presidents died before the end of their term. And he says, I'm a gambler, baby.
Then Kennedy got his head blown off by Oswald.
Yeah. And that is how Johnson stole the presidency.
And here's a funny one. Gerald Ford, after Nixon resigned, he became president. He survived 2 assassination attempts within 3 weeks of each other.
Huh.
Yeah, the amount of assassinations of U.S. presidents is pretty crazy.
This is funny though because Ford survived by mere luck. The first one was on December 5th, 1975, when he was visiting Sacramento. Some Manson family aimed a pistol at him, but remember the thing about a pistol? You need to have a round in the chamber for the gun to fire, and she did not have a round in the chamber to open the fire, and she was aiming dead center at him. So she pulled the trigger, the gun didn't fire, and she got tackled to the ground. And then the second attempt in San Francisco, another assassin fired a revolver at him, but he missed his head by about a couple of feet and hit a wall.
It's really funny that there's so many assassinations of the president, but they're all so incompetent.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to shoot a person. It couldn't be that hard.
I mean,
apparently it is.
Yeah, shooting the president is probably basically. By the way, hi CIA. Welcome to the live stream. Shooting the president can't be that hard.
Talking about presidential assassinations.
Well, it's not a bright idea to do it on an election year either.
There's actually, speaking of assassination, there's actually called a 20-year curse.
If we wake up tomorrow on the CIA black side, I'm blaming all of you.
If I'm suddenly waterboarded tomorrow,
If I get extradited to Gitmo, please send me a message saying I survived.
Remember us if we turn up in Abu Ghraib tomorrow.
Oh, Abu Ghraib. Gitmo is more my type.
To get back on the prize question, congratulations, Chris Herios. Don't forget to answer me, send me your address and stuff, and I'll get you sorted out. Other than that, I am going to cut the live stream in, let's say, 10 minutes. I usually do an hour and a half of these. As you can see, we've made some nice progress on Emily's concept art. This is going out to Quentin after this, so he has some reference to draw Emily with. While we're here, I'll show you guys a bit more frames, and maybe I'll pop open Premiere and show you how the trailer is progressing.
Half the live stream is just empty noise. Except you.
By the way, if you guys have any more questions, this is the time to ask me, of course.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this. FDR nearly got shot by a guy named Zagara, but the reason that failed because he stood on a chair and someone knocked it over.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, because the guy was short, so he couldn't see, so he had to stand on a chair, and someone knocked over his chair, and he missed all... 5 people got hit, FDR did not get hit. But he killed the mayor of the park.
Imagine saving the president's life. That's a pretty cool move, though.
Yeah, that I would be honored for that one. A lot of people saved presidents by accident, actually. Like, it's interesting of the people who saved presidents' lives from assassins, but there's also the cases of the people who managed to screw it up so badly they actually killed the president instead. Like, example, back to Garfield, the doctors who were so incompetent they didn't even follow basic health etiquette in like trying to get the bullet out.
How do you become part of the president's health detail and like not be a competent? That's pretty.
Well, I mean, it's the 19th century. You know,
Yeah.
health wasn't exactly the primary concern of people at the time.
I mean, still,
Yeah, it was like, I wonder how do you become the president's health detail like that, because it's not just that they couldn't find the bullet; it's that they tried to find the bullet, but then they scrubbed around with their bare fingers, not washed, inside him, and then then the predictable happened. With McKinley's one was more rapid because he died within like 8 days of the assassination, but Garfield lasted for like 2 months.
Yeah.
John F. Kennedy, that was obvious. No medical help with him, he got shot in the head. So, and Lincoln, he managed to go to his bed and pass peacefully away, according to most reports, anyway. So,
I mean, they probably embellished it a little bit. He was probably screaming in agony.
yeah, probably because that was the first time an assassination attempt was head of the president.
Yeah.
And according to most of the section, John Lincoln Booth did shoot him in the head with a derringer. So.
I was gonna bring up a story that I thought was interesting, but it slipped my mind. What was I gonna say? It wasn't about U.S. president. It was about a different country's president.
What country are you thinking of?
Yeah, it completely slipped my mind. I had a cool story for this, but I forgot. I'll get it. I'll post it in Patreon launch when I come up with it. It's probably gonna come up right after I close off this live stream. It always does. Alright, let's see if we can get this holster in. By now the trailer images should have loaded in. You guys will probably hear some system audio, but it's gonna be wobbly. This is a work in progress version of the trailer that I'm showing. We're doing a rework. This one is being, like, a lot of people are very confused by the story in this trailer, so we're basically re-editing it so it's a little clearer.
2,000 miles through a war zone. We'll never make it.
We can make it. We stay off the main roads, avoid the patrols, keep our heads down.
Crisis in Wall Street as widespread economic collapse. The strikes have been growing in number and intensity.
Third week of violent strikes and occupations. The burning and looting have been...
Many fear this to be a prelude to a wide-scale uprising.
You are a good, loyal comrade, Michael. It's a mission only you can complete. Even the family, sir. I know you care for the girl. It doesn't change what we have to do. We must steel our hearts to protect the revolution.
Anarchist bombing of the Chicago Board of Trade has left the building with extensive damage. The National Army has been mobilized. Field Marshal McAllister given unprecedented executive powers by a Congress held at gunpoint. McAllister has declared...
What the hell happened here?
The Germans happened.
All those people.
You two need to realize as long as they have this weapon, they will hunt us down. They will chase us to the ends of the earth. They will throw everything they have at us. The Legion Condor is ruthless.
Government troops soundly defeated. Syndicates have seized Chicago and declared the Combined Syndicates.
Our
states.
chains are broken.
Reactionary force, the German Empire and her central
Das Reich wird Kraft einsetzen, um die Stabilität in der Region zu gewährleisten.
All this death for some German bomb?
It's not just a bomb. I was there. I saw it. This will change everything.
You have no idea what I've lost.
Everyone has lost people, Emily. You're not the only one who is entitled to pain.
Washington has fallen. A complete breakdown of Central Office secession.
Analysts are calling it the Second American Civil War. God help us all.
Will you be a lousy scab, or will you be a man?
Alright, I'm back. I had to deafen myself while the trailer was playing. So that's the trailer in its current version. As you can see, there's still a lot of frames that we're working on, especially the later half of the trailer has a bunch of like stuff that's just stock photography for now, and we need to go and replace all of that with sexy final illustration. Here's some examples of like some of those frames. So as you can see here, all these parts are like separated, and we're animating them one by one. Like if you go to our Discord, you guys are not seeing this secret Discord, of course, but this is our crew channel. And here you can see Grayson, that's Marcus, our Danish animator. So he's working on all these frames. He's adding some animation, sound effects, you know, then we have voice actors. And at that point, the trailer is done. Like if you can get all of these things done, then we're pretty there. So as you can see, we're closing in. The end goal is in sight, but there's definitely still a lot of work. But I'm very happy at the way things are turning out. As you can see, we've got some really nice illustration. Also, this trailer has more art in it than like the entirety of Kaiserreich has, like in total. Like if you go look at things like Still in Kansas, we'll have a bunch of new loading screens, a whole bunch of cool art that we can use, and I think it's gonna add so much to the Kaiserreich world, because this is the first time that we've really dug deep on something. Oh, I noticed my webcam went dead. That's probably because the battery is out, guys, but I was planning on stopping the live stream anyway, so let's hold it there. I'll just put you on full screen for now. Just a minute. Can I take my work? There we go. So all this art we're going to add to the Kaiserreich world. Here's an example of a colored piece called Still in Canvas, and this is going to be in the trailer as well, but in black and white. But I do have a colored piece for those of you that would like to have it as a desktop wallpaper. So that's basically what we're doing right now. We're just, you know, illustrating. We need to make sure all these frames get done. If you look at my recent history here, we're just building this up frame per frame. You know, here's the shot of the atomic test. Here's a work in progress shot of Sawyer, you know, in a car, you know, driving past the ruins. Here's Emily and Sawyer arguing about something. His face is a little young here, so this is like, you know, we need to go in and fix all these things that aren't exactly where we want them to be. This scene we call Knock Knock. And there's a little note here for the animators. That's when Agent Peterson and Michael go to the house. And then there's also the conceptual design part of it. So definitely a lot of work already done, but a lot of work still yet to be done. And that is the note where I will end this live stream on. I hope you guys enjoyed that early look at the Divided States trailer. This live stream will stay recorded and probably deleted because of all the talk of president's assassination. You will never hear from us or the patrons again. That will probably mean that we are in a CIA black site I hope to be released in 40 years. At which point we will continue.
I'll probably get handed over to the Australian government as a terrorist or something. But anyway.
Kaiserreich cinema leadership and patrons brought in captivity appearing who have to face court in Den Haag. But as soon as we're back from our waterboarding vacation, we'll try and finish the show, guys. All right, that's it. I'll still be on the patron chat for a minute, so but I am going to cut the live stream here. I want to thank everyone for joining us this wonderful day. I hope you will all have an amazing rest of the weekend, and that is going to be it. Just gonna sign us. Here, wishing everyone a good weekend, and